All right, guys, from U.S. travel risk scrambling hotel pricing to airlines suspending service to Puerto Vallarta, TSA PreCheck holding steady, and Las Vegas tourism suffering a dip. Plus, hundreds of passengers stranded overnight on ground planes. This week's Good Morning Hospitality Hotels has news you want to unpack. Let's get into it. Oh my gosh, got to get that coffee.
Hello,
Hey, good
Sarah.
morning. Wow. Okay.
Everyone's waiting for us. Paul, Manzi, clock is ticking. We had some technical difficulties with a live show, but we're here. We're live.
Yes.
And we're excited to be here on this beautiful Wednesday here in Miami. And where's everybody else coming from? I would love to see where all of our viewers are watching from because we always have so many unique places. But Sarah, your mic sounds good now.
Does it sound better? Okay, good job.
But now we're ready to go.
I don't know what's going on. It's been there. It's been connected. Ooh. Oh my God.
Feels like one of those weeks.
It's only 7 a.m. for me, and I'm already like, oh my goodness, it's been a day.
We're getting started. We got a great show here. But before we get into the show, did you do anything fun this weekend? I didn't catch up with you this week.
Oh, did I do anything fun? Did I ever? I was working on my tans. No, I did do that, but I was actually in Mexico in Cabo, and I was staying at a new property that just opened up in December. It is called Kettle, and it's a boutique hotel, kind of like in the city part of Cabo, Cabo San Lucas. And what's great about it is it's actually part of the Mexico Grand properties. And so for those people that might be familiar with those properties, there are these wonderful big resorts, kind of like spaced throughout Cabo. And what's really cool about what this property has is you can opt for their all-inclusive package. But you don't just stay at their hotel like what normally happens when you have an all-inclusive package. So you're staying in the city, you've got all-inclusive, and then you could take the shuttle to any of their other properties and you can dine there. So cool. I thought it was a really cool thing that you can be close to the nightlife if that's what you're wanting to do. And then you can hop on a shuttle, go have breakfast, do a pool day or like a beach day at one of the other properties. It was really cool and fantastic. And of course, it was totally fine. I know there was a lot of drama. I was coming back on Sunday where obviously the situation was happening in Puerto Vallarta. We were totally fine. And also without having global entry, also totally fine. I know we might be talking about that, but there are some pro tips. So to keep it coming in smooth. But yeah.
Look at you, busy weekend.
Eventful weekend
too. Look at this. I was in the Disney bubble for my kid's birthday with the grandparents, and I got to say, after a couple of trips now, I think I'm a Disney ninja. If anyone needs any tips, you let me know, because we stayed in the beautiful Wilderness Lodge Hotel, which I hadn't stayed at yet, but a beautiful property. It's one of their premier properties. And then, hey, in the park, I just got to brag about this. 14 hours in the park, 21 rides ridden, only one line waited in because I use lightning lanes, 2 sit-down reservation restaurants, 3 parades, and no crying kids, and everyone leaving happy. Success.
Okay. Well, wait. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Your kids are a little bit older now. Do they still have crying fits?
8 and 10. They can get cranky, you know.
Yeah.
Like how you are when you don't eat it, Sarah. It's kind of like that.
I was just about to say I could get cranky, then you just threw me under the bus. Whoa.
Oh, good. No, they do great. They're doing fantastic. It was a fun trip, and Disney always does a great job. You learn so much just being in their properties, and it's hard to shut off the brain since we're hotel people looking at what they got going on and how clean it is and how nice everyone is. They do a fantastic job. So
yeah,
I love it. So great to see everybody here. Hisham, good to see you here. Hello, everyone. Smuggy Smuggerson, good to see you, man. I'm keeping my face healthy. No Botox, though, my friend. We're keeping it looking good.
Wait, what? I was like, what are you talking about?
Botox in the comments. Put him up there, Smuggy Smuggerson. Good to see you, my friend.
Oh, man. No, man.
Young. Just keeping it young.
Yeah, of course. Hey, dude. Hey, it's all about that moisture in the air in Miami.
It's true. The humidity here. is what we got. Well, we got a great show today. We got a lot of things to cover. What should we hop into today first, Sarah?
Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we get with our first topic here? Hoteliers are scrambling to price with U.S. tariff risk. So for those that have been following along, there's a lot of tariff uncertainty. And without getting into the details of the back and forth with that, think about how that impacts hotel costs and how they're forecasting and pricing, because you don't know how much things are going to cost or if there's going to be a delay. And so this is huge. This is really, really big. And it's not just even forecasting. Well, first of all, it's understanding obviously like pricing and bottom line, how much things are going to cost, obviously how it's going to impact travelers. This is happening real time.
No, in real time it's happening. And I could say just from, I'm building our hotel project here, and it forced us to make some changes. So it just shows you how when you make these changes, we were going to buy something in Europe and we weren't able to because the price was so high that we had to find someone US based. So I guess, if the tariffs are meant to make you buy things US based and really support the US economy, it really showed that it did for us. But when you're trying to do renovations and you're planning things way out in advance, like in this article they talked about, I think it was the Wynn Las Vegas, they planned a $325 million renovation to their rooms, and they paused it because they're not sure, is that going to be 325 or is there not going to be 15% more than we were planning on spending? It's hard to do those things as you are dealing with these changes that happen in real time. And they're big swings on some of them. Some are 25%, some are 50%, some days are 100% depending on what country we're working with. So it is hard to figure those things out for all operators. So, I'm curious to see what happens. So if you're an operator out there right now and you're watching or listening, I'd love to hear if you've had to pause something or rethink of where you're buying your products from. It would be interesting to hear what's going on.
So I have a genuine question as to why this happens. And this is not just only about the tariffs, but this. So apparently, why does stuff get announced on the weekends? Why does this happen? Why does stuff happen on Saturdays and Sundays? Like this happens all the time.
I know. I don't know the reason for that. I'm sure there's a PR reason for it. Something going on that makes a decision where maybe not everyone's watching, not everything's going on. They say, all right, let's put out the news now. It won't get caught like it would on a Monday or Tuesday potentially, or they're putting it out. That's when he's working. I'm not sure.
I'm working too, but anyway, so yeah, this is definitely really interesting. Again, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head, and you're obviously seeing it in real time with your properties, and we've seen it with others. So let us know, have you guys been able to, are you guys seeing the same thing? Is it actually impacting how you're forecasting as well? So let us know.
It's a lot of everything. I want to put one more thing. It's not just products. It's like, think about food and beverage, what the bags and packaging and all these things are usually made in other countries that you're putting your stuff into. It's your towels and your linens are coming from other countries. Your soap and shampoos and all these things that you buy all get, taxed now with tariffs. So you really have to be a master in understanding where can I do these things. And if I can buy it US based, who's doing it at a cost that's less. So let us know how you're doing out there. We'd love to hear.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's hop on to our next topic here. Airlines suspending flights to Puerto Vallarta due to unrest. So for those that you saw probably the news from this weekend, one of the heads of one of the cartels, I don't know how many there are. I'm not cool like that to be in the fold, but he was taken out on Sunday. And as a result, there was a lot of retaliation. Now, what I've seen and what I was seeing, because I was actually in Mexico, granted not that particular region, was, a lot of the deal with the unrest was not actually to hurt civilians and not actually to hurt tourists, but to just really cause chaos, which they did. They were successful with that. But as a result, multiple airlines have halted flights, for the near future as far as going into and out of Puerto Vallarta. But I do actually know some people who take a completely different spin on this, that are using this as a time to book future travel to the destination because flights are much cheaper. So
GMH, the Good Morning Hospitality Monday team, was talking about it, and I was like, hey, maybe we all go down there now. We go see what's going on. We'll do a GMH outing and just fly down for a night. with the rates. But yeah, you see it. Cruise ships too. Cruise ships are rerouting, not going there. They're heading more to where you were up in Cabo. They're just keeping their guests and travelers safe, because you never know what's going to happen when you're in a different country with all this unrest here. But the cartels, what they were saying is usually they leave these areas alone. The tourist areas are usually like off limits. We don't want to mess with that part of our country.
Totally.
Tourists coming, we want those dollars coming. We don't mess with it. So this is kind of a break from that. When they killed the head of their cartel, the Mexican government did, and put the pressure on them. They started to revolt in those areas. And that's what you see all over the news if you haven't been watching the news.
So what was interesting, so obviously I was in Mexico as this was going on. So I was like, I'm going to watch some videos. And I don't know if I would say that this is reassuring at least, but there were videos, for example, like cartel members would come to like a gas station and maybe there were people like pumping gas and they would literally like wave the people out, like get out of the way, go, or like get in the car and go. So they were literally like trying to get people out of the way. And then they would like set the gas station on fire. And I'm like,
all right.
Okay. I mean, that's
good guest service.
Silver lining. Guest service.
So your safety. I need to blow this up. I don't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I know that making light of it, but I was actually legit watching it because I just wanted to be aware and be mindful because I was in a few hours going to the airport. But I have to say, it was definitely a mind trip because, of course, I'm researching this and I'm sitting in a bathing suit by a pool, researching this on my phone. And then I'm like, this is crazy. And I'm looking around because I'm on a rooftop and I'm looking around Cabo. It's like perfectly clear, beautiful sunny day. And I'm like, this is so wild. This is happening because you're seeing the photos of Puerto Vallarta with all the smoke. And then the woman next to me is like, oh, they could do lettuce wrap tacos. Like what?
But yeah, you're in your bubble over there. You're okay, right?
Isn't that the microcosm of the world that we are in? This is like, that literally is the world that we're in. There is so much chaos happening all over. And then sometimes we're just there being like, do I want bananas in my smoothies? I don't know. But like, you got to keep it moving.
Yeah, listen, it's even in the cities. Like we look at, like we're going to talk on another city here in the U.S. Like you look at our country and different pockets of what's going on around the globe. We're all on this rock shooting through the universe.
Yes.
It's interesting to see as you zoom out how everything goes on. But Suzanne's saying, I like you both too much for you to travel there at the moment. Stay stateside, please.
Oh my God, girl. I love Mexico and I have no problem going to Mexico. Like I would go back this weekend.
Suzanne, you don't know this, but she works for the cartel, so we'll keep that under wraps.
I mean, stop it. God, don't tell people my whereabouts and my movements. Sorry. Oh my gosh. So that was what was going on. And actually our next topic also.
Yeah, you're boots on the ground. You got to see.
Boots on the ground for this. So TSA PreCheck. So for those that were paying attention, I think it was late Saturday night, it was that they were basically saying TSA PreCheck and global entry are going to be suspended until further notice because of allocations of funds. Yay. There's more to that we can get into at another time. But then they reversed that and TSA PreCheck is up and running. But for those that have global entry and are coming in from international flights, that is not running. But my pro tip that I was sharing with everybody, and I used it myself, coming into Los Angeles, so LAX, is the mobile passport control app. So everybody in the US can have it. And I actually even think you don't even need to be, I think it actually also works for those that are not just US passport holders. Because basically you're kind of getting pre-authorized in the system. So you'll, upload a photo of your passport, you do a selfie, they double check the biometrics, and then they kind of like give you a code, and then there would be a shorter line that you can go through. So shout out to LAX. They were keeping people moving. They always do a fantastic job of keeping people moving. So I wasn't too worried, but thank goodness the TSA PreCheck. But we're still seeing a lot of big lines in different places, depending on the airport. So plan ahead. But
I have some trips coming up, so I'm gonna keep an eye on this. But you were boots on the ground as it was going on, so you get to see it in real time.
Well, and it's interesting because here is the workaround which I was finding because I was just thinking about this because I'm flying out on Sunday. So TSA PreCheck wasn't working, but what I've heard in some places, touchless ID. So I know that that's what Delta, I think they call it a different name with other airlines. That was still working. So it would be basically very similar. And you go up, they take a photo of your face, you go right in, which
Right.
by the way, I'm a big fan of because I hate when you have to pull out your ID and then you pull it out and then you're like, oh, and you're trying to, I'm always so paranoid. I'm going to lose my ID at check-in. Anyway.
I have Clear, so I'm sure Clear helps a little bit as well. So
yes. Yeah, I think Clear was still good. I'm trying to remember about Clear.
They sent an email out saying we're still operating.
Okay, good. Then perfect. Then you were reading your emails.
I was
not.
Old man here.
Whew, what a weekend.
I know, a lot going on.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe you got some info on this one as well.
Yeah, why don't you introduce this and I can chime in?
All right. So Las Vegas tourism suffers sharp declines. So Las Vegas visitor numbers and hotel performance have dropped noticeably, and hotels and the destination are trying to figure out what to do because there are a lot of things impacting this. They're saying travelers from Canada aren't coming down as much. They're not getting as many visitors coming in and spending in the cities. And it's going to be interesting to see how they come out of it because they have such giant hotels there, and all these, we talk about the younger generations coming up. We're millennials. What's below us? The Generation Z. Forget who they are coming up after.
Yeah.
Right, but they don't drink. They're not alcohol. They don't really focus on that kind of party scene. They're not really gambling. So Las Vegas is trying to figure out what to do because the older crowd they could depend on are saying it's too expensive. Like when I just went this past year, it was very expensive to be there, where 10 years earlier, it was kind of like that deal. Like, all right, I'm going to lose a bunch of money here in your casino, but I get some free drinks and some cheap buffets and some good shows.
Yep.
Now, everything is priced way up, and more than it is here in South Beach and Miami Beach, where you really do see high prices. I think we were the first to start selling bottles of water at $10. So if we're doing that, can you only imagine now? I went to get a bottle of water there. It was $12. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. It's it is crazy. Funny that you say that because I'm actually going to dinner on the Strip tonight, and I was like, do I have to? But yeah, it is definitely really expensive. Obviously, the feedback from other travelers, the Canadian travelers. By the way, while I was in Mexico, I was flying my drone. For those that don't know, I fly a drone. I fly drones whenever I travel, whenever I can. Ask for forgiveness later. But I was flying my drone, and it's always tricky when you're kind of doing it by people by the pool. Don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. But there were two women next to me, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm just going to put up my drone. I can't see anybody." And they're like, "Oh no, this is fascinating. Tell us all about it." We get into a conversation, and they're a same-sex couple that are married from Vancouver, Canadians. And I was asking them, like, what do you like? Are you coming to the US? Are you choosing not to come to the US? Obviously, we're in Mexico. And they were like, no, we used to go to the US all the time, and we don't feel comfortable or safe. And so that was an interesting reminder. I mean, I told them, I'm like, girls, you're totally welcome here on the West Coast and in any big cities. Like, it's very cool. But I get it. I totally understand where they're coming from. And so I say that because of hearing that real-time feedback from Canadians being a big part of a lot of the individuals that would come to Vegas. I mean, it's obviously impacting. But as you said, we're just seeing consumer shifts, less drinking, less gambling, all of that. But I do feel like they're just going to be leaning heavy into events. I think we're just like in the middle of a actual like shift with what consumers are interested in. And this happens every so often.
Yeah, and Paul Manzi over here saying Las Vegas isn't the only spot to gamble anymore, especially on sports. People who had to make bi-weekly trips down to place wagers now have the convenience of making the same wager from their phone. Just like everything else and going on in the world. So right from the phone. True. Good point, Paul. All these factors really go into it. So I'm curious to see, but the trade shows are way up, they said. So part of what you're saying, Sarah, they're really putting down the trade shows, making things. They're going to have 1.2 million visitors just going for trade shows in the city. So I really hope they pull out of it because I have a lot of great friends that work in those hotels, and it really is a city that should always be doing fun things for entertainment.
I think it will. I'm very optimistic. Again, it's a period of change. And I will say this, if anybody has the ability to be nimble and to really kind of flex and go with what travelers are wanting, I think it's Las Vegas. I feel like a lot of eyes will always be looking to Las Vegas to be like, okay, what is the future? What are travelers wanting and opting for? And it will almost have a trickle down effect and impact others. So I'm optimistic.
All right, Las Vegas, keep pushing. Keep going. Cheering you on.
Okay. All right. Why don't you lead this next one too?
All right, this one is it's a big one. This is from where Paul Manzi actually lives. This is from Minneapolis, but the hotel industry wasn't built for this. And this is touching on how the surge of ICE in the Minneapolis area really affected a hotel that was there. It was a Hampton Inn, and someone on the property, they didn't say who, and related to property, rejected having ICE agents stay at the hotel. And they had their Hampton Inn flag pulled. So Hampton Inn automatically, as a franchisee, you have to follow all their rules, and they felt they were not being followed, and they pulled the Hampton Inn flag off of that hotel, which now really suffocates that property owner. But someone, that property made a decision. They didn't say it was the owner, they didn't say it was the general manager or whoever it might have been, but that got up to the White House, and the White House put pressure on the company, and they had their flag pulled, is what it shows. And there's this article saying if you have a chance, you should get on Skift. If you want to put that on one more time, Will, so they can see the article. I think you should take some time to read it. Sarah did a good job of writing it really in depth, more than we're going to cover here, of just the pressure that's going to happen to certain cities, because the hotels that did accept having ICE agents then had, protesters outside their doors causing damage and really causing a scene. Sure. So it's like, you can't win either way, it seems like. And, hotel people like me, I don't know if you've ever been in a scene like that where you've had to like keep protesters out. I had to do that on South Beach once. We are not prepared to do those kind of things. And I remember, me standing under the front door trying to keep people out is not what we want. So it's a hard place to put hoteliers.
That's a great point. And I think that that's the biggest reminder, is that like we got into hotels for like travel and hospitality. And sometimes you have situations like this where, again, as you mentioned, like now you have to deal with protesters, or, there's big emergencies that happen. Like we're not totally trained to handle, environmental catastrophes or like political unrest. And yet or even like health issues. I mean, the number of times that something happens to somebody and you have to call 911 in the hotel, but maybe you have to like be with them before 911 gets there. And then it's very challenging. And I think that that's the part that a lot of people kind of skim over, but we aren't prepared for that. We're being trained to be like, oh, step to the side, right this way, or giving somebody 3 options when they ask for something, and not necessarily like how to take a pulse on a body. But it happens because it's a 24-hour business.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too much into politics here, and it's a tough place to be for hotels right now, especially they were saying in the article that Donald Trump announced there's going to be probably 5 more cities are going to target just like this. And so how will those cities react if that does happen? And so it's a tough place to put hotels and hotel owners. And, it's just a tricky place to be. So don't want to go in too much more detail on that one, at least for this show. But if you have the chance, go on Skift, read the article. Sarah did a great job writing it, and it really goes into depth of
the
how
other
to
Sarah.
Hotels. Yes, the other Sarah.
The other Sarah.
Other Sarah, sorry. Sarah, who wrote this, didn't have her name there. But if you look at it, it's a really great article. Go ahead and read it. Make your own decisions. Come back next week and let us know.
Yeah. Anyway, so again, that is a really good article. So why don't we go ahead, shift gears a little bit here. Love this. And our unhinged travel story of the week. By the way, I love doing this segment. This is so fun.
Which one did we go with? Because there was 2. I'm curious. Is it the... this one? All right.
We kept it spicy this week. Okay, so a traveler, this woman who's basically an influencer, I guess, posted a travel hack where she boiled her underwear in a hotel kettle to freshen them up. Of course, as to be expected, this video sparked widespread backlash online. Commenters saying it's unsanitary, it's gross. Oh my gosh. Of course, it quickly turned into a viral debate over what's acceptable travel behavior versus just basically being like an epic travel fail, as far as like a travel hack fail. So, I personally think that she just did it for the virality. I can't imagine that she would be doing that. That just seems so weird.
Yeah, just going further into it, the way she described it was, I'm taking my dirty underwear and I'm going to the coffee machine, and where you would normally put like the filter to put coffee in, you just put your underwear. and you clean it that way. Which if she was, listen, one, like I think you're right. She's just doing it to get leads because the story is still up and the video is still up. So she likes getting those eyeballs on her account and growing her account.
100%.
But it just shows people are gross. Gross things happen in those hotel rooms. Okay. Housekeepers and the team really do their best to clean. I see it with our hotel rooms and vacation rentals that we manage. There's some people that treat it great, and then there's others that really are gross. And it's part of what you expect when you're going into hotels. I'm curious, when you're going in hotels, Sarah, what are some things that maybe give you the ick when you're in those rooms? And viewers and listeners too, if you put it in the comments, is it the dirty carpet? You have to wear slippers? Is it you don't use the glasses? Is it something else that you think about when you get into a hotel room?
Well, I'm not a big TV watcher, so that and then I hate.
Hold on, Suzanne.
What?
But I suppose it's better than urinating into the irons. Oh my gosh, when did that happen?
Suzanne, did that happen?
Suzanne's peeing on the irons.
Oh my gosh. No. So, I mean, everybody kind of knows. I find this so interesting. So everybody knows like the clicker, like the TV remote control is exceptionally dirty. And it irritates me when I go into a room that the TV is on because I wouldn't turn it on, but because it's on, I now have to find the remote control, then touch it and turn it off. And so it's forcing me to interact with something I don't want to necessarily interact with. I get that the TV has to be on. But yeah, so that's definitely something that I'm mindful of because I'm like forced to sort of interact with it. I will say I'm pretty lucky that it's rare that I go to places that it's like, but if I look in the corners, I have definitely gone to my fair share of places where I look in the corners. I'm just like, oh gosh. There was actually a hotel I went to 2 years ago. And I remember being so grossed out. I'm like, I'm not even like getting ready for bed. I'm going to keep all of my clothes on, including my jacket. And I slept on top of the bed because I was so grossed out.
And Suzanne coming back. I know, Suzanne, we were just joking. We were just joking with you. She said she found it in cleaning rooms. And she has some great stories that might haunt us from housekeeping class that she teaches.
Dude,
but I would say mine that kind of, you can tell really quick is that in the rooms that are all old carpet, that kind of gets grossed me out.
Yeah,
and then there's always that chair in the corner. And so if that chair, you'll know it. Like that chair is not clean. They don't wash that chair like they do the linens and the towels and everything else. So just be careful with that chair in the room that's in the corner.
That's a weird chair, by the way.
We'll let you all think about what that chair is. Anyhow, it's been a great show. It's been a great show, everybody. I think we got a couple of minutes for our real-time recap. Should we wrap up with real-time recap?
Yeah. Why don't you go first?
All right. Well, we did a lot of traveling. Like I said, I was in Orlando, and I do want to give a shout out just to the people in the Disney parks themselves. Is amazing of what they do for kids, especially. And we dined at the Be Our Guest, which is one of their sit-down fancy restaurants. And you had the Beast walking around welcoming everyone to his castle. And, they really focus on the kids to make sure that they're having like a world-class time. And they have the patience of saints, all these servers and employees at this place, and really go into character and make it a whole world that kids will remember for forever, and adults seeing their kids in that world. So thank you for Disney, and you learn a lot when you're out there. So that's my real-time recap.
I love that. My real-time recap, I'll do a shout out to the team at the Kadun Hotel in Cabo. They were fantastic. They were so great with us. It was actually unseasonably cold when we got there, and they were super helpful in making sure that we were comfortable, because especially when you go to a warm climate expecting it to be warm, you don't always pack for it to be super chilly, but they were great, and they made the whole stay comfortable, very personable, and that's what you like, right? You want to have that nice personal experience that you feel like you've kind of made friends with the staff, that you kind of have somebody that's like looking out for you when you're in a city. So shout out to the Kadun Hotel in Cabo. Good job, guys.
Love it. All right. Great show here, everyone. And Kate put in her comment, I usually put a blanket on that couch before I sit down. Housekeeping is tough. The couches don't get enough love. You heard it here first, everybody. Make sure you watch out for that chair, as Paul was saying.
I mean,
Listen, we're going to wrap it up here until next week. If you found this show funny or good, make sure to share it with somebody. You know, they will enjoy this show just as much. And for all the YouTube viewers, we hope to see you here next week. LinkedIn viewers, we love seeing all the comments and you sharing everything you got with us. Until next week, Sarah, stay hospitable.